So I just want to thank everyone. Again, we have all had a wonderful presentation. But then all we have said, if we cannot reach the patient, then there's nothing we can do. We can't impact sickle cell disease. And that's what this presentation is all about, the ethics of advocacy, stakeholders, and community engagement work for sickle cell disease. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so my question is, how do we make sure we don't impact sickle cell disease? That's a negative question, isn't it? And the most important thing we can do if we don't want to impact sickle cell disease is to wait for those challenged or the patients to come to us in our clinic. Now, even when they come and get better, they stop coming. I had an experience with a young girl. She was bad. She came, I started her on hydroxyurea, and over time she did excellently well. Her response, she stopped coming. So when I saw her and asked, why have you stopped coming? Her response, doctor, I am already healed. Sickle cell disease is not my portion, God forbid, to fear. So that's the way that those challenged, on the average, will respond. The other things I've noted here would be to stigmatize them and then not attacking the problem at the population level. Next slide. So what is the best way to impact sickle cell disease then in our climate? And if there are three ways, it will be community engagement, and community engagement. We need to go to the community to reach out to them. Next slide. And I asked again another question: how can we engage them in a robust, ethical way to benefit all? And the answer again here is to encourage them to form themselves into support groups which can do the following. One, advocate for funds. Funds are needed to pay hospital bills for these patients, school fees, and other palliatives. That's the only way, or that's a very important way that these groups can get their the patients always available. Again, we encourage them to engage pharmaceutical companies, and we've been talking about hydroxyurea. At a particular time, it was difficult to get. These companies can be asked to make drugs that we need that are not available, or even those that are available but not in the way we want them. So they can make the kind that we can give to children. Sometimes they donate drugs too, and they also make their drugs less expensive for our patients to buy. Next slide. Now the same question. Again, health insurance for the challenge is a very important thing. When we get these support groups to put their patients on health insurance, we find that it removes a huge burden from the patient and also from the support groups. So we do our best to make sure that as many as possible of these patients get into one form of health insurance or another. Another important thing we do is to take the sickle cell clinics to their community centers. Now, some of our support groups are able to build their own clinics in some of our outreach stations. That's fine. But even when they are unable, we look for a primary health center where we can go to them. Or at worst, we look for a community health center where we also take the clinics to them. When the clinics are going on, we health educate them, we hear their questions, we answer their question. There's a huge spirit of camaraderie amongst everyone. Then we are also able from time to time to provide investigations free. So what we do is to hook up these patients with our students, postgraduate, undergraduate, And if they want to do one form of investigation or another, for example, screening for protein in urine, they come to these support groups, screen all of them, and those that are positive, we call them to the hospital and talk to them, and also give them other investigations to do. Next slide. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so we also encourage them to establish a WhatsApp platform for dissemination of information. So wherever they are in the world, they always continue to hook in with us on the WhatsApp platform, get information and do things that we want them to do, or also give us information we want from them. So you see that the members see this group as a family, which they can identify with. Even when they don't have problems, when they are well, they continue to come and we continue to see them. And stigmatization is less of a problem, or not a problem here. I'd like to close by saying that we also at this level brainstorm on ways to attack sickle cell disease at the population level. And I give you an example. A group we engage decided that they would pass a law in Anambra State where AS individuals will not be able to, by law, marry another AS individual. Two AS individuals cannot marry. They went to the House of Assembly and talked to them. And as we speak, that law has, or that law has been passed by the House of Assembly. And at the last time I checked with them, it was waiting for assent from the executive governor. Although we didn't support it, we gave them lots of reasons why it may it may boomerang, but they didn't understand us, they went ahead. I bring this as an example for us to see that we solve most of the problems I noted in the first slide when we work with our patients, those challenged, as support groups and engage them in the community. So if we have another thing to do to attack sickle cell disease at a population level, it is at this same platform that will go to do these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone and to note that we must move ahead in our climb to solve our problems using community engagement. Thank you.